What's up my homies, DJ80 here, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the Chauvet Bob LED Flame Effect light. So let's open the box and see what we get. Here's what we get in the box. We get power cable, we get the lighting unit itself, we get 3 little tripod legs, we get some screws and some brackets, we get the hanging chains, we get the flame effect itself, and we get the manual and some other little promotional gumph in there too. So the first thing that I noticed when I took everything out and went to put it together is in the manual you get this little diagram here. I'll just try and zoom in. And it shows you on the picture that you've got these 3 little bits on the side of the unit for hanging the chains. So I actually looked at the unit and I couldn't see them anywhere. So I looked all the way around and I spent a good 5-10 minutes trying to fathom it out, and I had it upside down and I couldn't see them, and for a brief second I thought they've sent me a faulty unit, but actually the little brackets come in a bag and you have to fit them yourself. Not the end of the world, quite easy to do, but just remember to check that you've got those when you open your box. So onto the unit itself. Well, you can see from the top there what we've got is we've got 4 banks of LEDs. These ones at the side are all yellow, I think, or orange, and then the ones in the middle are blue. I'll switch one on in a moment and you can see. And it's quite a nice, it's metal, it's quite a nice sturdy construction to it. It actually, the painted finish on it's really nice too. Underneath there's no DMX or power in, power out. Basically you've got a wired power connector there, and then there's your fan behind that little metal grill there. But like I say, the paint finish on it is really nice. It's a nice metallic grey. So here's one, I ordered 2, so I managed to make one. Here's one I made earlier. So this is what it looks like set up with just the legs. This is the cloth that gives you the flame effect. It's I think it's silk, it's really thin, and surprisingly it's just held on. I can just show you. Each bottom bit has a magnet. And that's how it's held on. Just a little magnet. It's kind of glued onto the cloth there, and then your magnet attaches to that little flap there, and then there's one on the other side. So it's a bit torn there at the bottom. Both bits are like that. Obviously that's the way it's cut. And then the fan blows underneath and gives you a flame effect. So let's plug it in. So there is no on-off switch on this unit either. So the moment you plug it in, it works. So I'm not sure if you can pick up the noise here from the unit. That's the fan going. It's not overly loud. Certainly in an environment where you're going to have a crowd of people, you won't hear it over the talking and the chatting, and you definitely won't hear it when you've got the music playing either. So size wise, the height of the unit when it's on its legs up to this metal rim here at the top is about 13 inches. And then to the top where the flame is, it's about 25-26 inches. I've got 2 units, and the cloth for the flame one slightly longer than the other, so they're not like a standard length, but they're about that height. And then, as you can see inside there, you've got your 3 banks of LEDs with the blue LEDs in the middle that finish to give you a nice flame effect. And you can run this unit all night, won't overheat. And what I'm going to do is try these out on my gig this weekend. So here's the flames all set up. You can hang them, but as you can see, I don't really have anywhere to hang them on my setup at the moment. So I put them at the edge. It's quite a sunny day today. It's nearly 7 o'clock, and the sun's still shining, so it's hard to see them at their best, but I'll try and get a clip later on when it's dark. So let's reach the conclusion then for this Chauvet Bob Flame LED effect. I'll start with the negatives, and it's quite hard to find too many negatives because it's designed to do one job, which is be a flame effect. And to be fair, it does that well. But there are just a couple of things that I noticed. Its biggest negative for me is its legs. Okay, so you get these legs in the box and then you screw them on, which is fine. The problem is, as you can see from the shape and the size of it, it just makes it a pain to transport. So you know, if I got bags for these, I'd need 2 separate bags to fit them in, just because the legs are so wide. And so that's its biggest negative for me. It's not going to be coming out with me every gig I do. If they make another model, all they need to do is just change these legs so that they're foldable, or you know, they fold and then they extend out and clip out. And then if they folded inwards, that would make that much more compact and easy to transport. It's not the end of the world, but I now have to store it at home, so I have the choice of bringing it home and just unscrewing the legs each time and saving space, or leaving it as is and then screwing the legs back on every time I want to use it. And no, they don't stack on top of each other either, because I've tried that. That's its biggest negative, but it's not the end of the world. And I suppose you could argue that the fact that those legs are screwed on just adds stability to it as well. So, you know, there's a flip side to the coin. And then just a couple of other points. This effect is a kid magnet. At the gig that I did, there was a couple of kids there earlier on, just for like an hour or so, and as soon as they came in, they saw these flame effects and came straight over, and you could tell that they were like, oh wow, what's that? And so the children like these, and in fact a lot of adults came over just to have a look and see exactly what it was and how it was working. I would advise you strongly not to use these at children's parties. What you'll end up with is a lot of kids sort of hovering around them to have a look, and of course once they realise that it's not a proper flame effect, they're going to be putting their hands in. And in fact I've seen reports from other DJs who say the flame effects are good for kids, but the cloth gets really dirty where the kids are like, oh, you know, they're touching the silk fabric. So I'd advise you not to use it for children's parties. And on the point of silk, probably the last negative is the little silk flame effect that we get. This could be just me being really picky, but it's almost like it's just thrown together. So you've got your little magnet there, and it's just glued to a piece of cloth. You know, it's not, I am probably being picky, but it's just, the rest of the product's so well designed and well made, and the finish on it's really nice. And then you've just got like someone went, oh I know, just cut a piece of cloth and just stick a couple of magnets to it. And even the cloth itself, I don't know if you can see well there, but it's kind of frayed. and that's from the actual usage, that fray, because when I brought it out today to review it, there was some bits of the material here, so yeah, it just bugs me a little bit, but it's not the end of the world, and you know, the light does what it's supposed to. But yeah, it's just, yeah, we'll just stick a couple of magnets on, you know, go and cut a piece of fabric and job done. Okay, so now onto the positives. First and foremost, it's designed to be a flame effect light, and it's great. It does that really well. I had several comments from my client and my client's guests about how nice it looked, and how the overall setup looked really nice as well. It's not noisy, so that you can get bigger flame effect lights, which I've heard and seen, and the fans on them are quite noisy. This makes a little bit of noise, but once you've got a few guests in the room, you can't hear it, and certainly once you've got music playing, you definitely can't hear it. So unlike its bigger versions, this one's quite quiet in comparison. You get the options with it, with the chains and the legs, so you can have it freestanding on the floor. I haven't used the chains yet, but that's another nice option that you can have hanging. I'm also toying with the idea of actually widening that little bit in the middle there with a screwdriver and sticking a bolt through, and actually having this like on an overhead bar. I might do that on one of my rigs. So you've got some mounting options there. The paint finish on this unit is really nice. It's a really solid, sort of like grey silver colour, and it's done really well. And actually, as you can see there on the inside, all the LEDs are all mounted well. It's a slightly odd angle there, maybe that's better. And so the actual product itself is a good quality piece of product. There's no rattles or anything like that. I would say that this is suitable for small to medium sized venues. If you're looking for a sort of flame effect that can be seen in a large venue, then I think this will be a little bit too small for that, unless you brought several of them and sort of scattered them around the room. It's LEDs, which means you can run it all night, which is what I did. I had it on when I set up from about 7, and it didn't go off until after midnight when the gig finished. It wasn't hot at all, and obviously when you get LEDs, a lot of units with LEDs can run all night because they draw so little power. And then just lastly, price point. So I bought 2 of these units for just over £100, and I think you know, that included postage as well. I think that's an okay price. The thing is, there just aren't many flame effect units that you can choose from, so they can kind of dictate the price. But I suppose at 50 quid a pop for what you're getting, it's not the end of the world. So I would say that that's reasonably priced for the product. So yeah, overall good all-round product, does what it says on the tin. It's a nice effect on your rig, and it's something different for the clients, and for those clients that haven't seen a flame effect light before, it certainly offers the wow factor. So that's the end of my review. I've been DJ80. Thanks for watching. If it was of any help at all, my latest track, Submergence, is on my YouTube channel as well. Click and have a listen. Thanks for watching. Bye.